Boxing fans, get ready because a potential showdown between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson is heating up. Turki Al-Sheikh, one of the biggest names in boxing promotions, has expressed his desire to see these two step into the ring one day. But is this dream fight really possible? While Tank is known for his explosive knockouts and superstar status, Shakur has struggled to excite fans with his ultra-defensive style. Many believe that if this fight happens, it could either be an all-out war or a one-sided clinic. But before we can even think about a Tank vs. Shakur mega fight, Stevenson has a lot to prove. His recent performances at lightweight have been criticized as dull, and fans even walked out of his fights against Artem Harutyunyan and Edwin de los Santos. So, the big question is, does Shakur Stevenson deserve a shot at a star like Tank Davis? Or is this just another hype fight with no real excitement? Let's be honest, if Shakur wants this fight, he needs to win back the fans. Right now, the only reason his name is being thrown into the mix is that Eddie Hearn sees dollar signs in a potential matchup with Tank. But let's not forget that Shakur's last fight was so uneventful that fans booed him from the fourth round onward. His lack of punching power, fragile hands, and hit-and-run style are not what boxing fans want to see. Meanwhile, Tank Davis has built his reputation on highlight reel knockouts and high-action fights, making him one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. A fight between these two would be a clash of styles, but can Stevenson handle Tank's raw power? Or would he spend 12 rounds running, leaving fans disappointed yet again? One thing is for sure, if this fight ever happens, Shakur will need to bring more than just slick defense. He'll have to prove he can stand toe-to-toe with one of boxing's most dangerous punchers, or risk being exposed in front of the entire world. Turki Al-Sheikh has made it clear that he hopes to see a blockbuster fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson one day. This puts him in agreement with Eddie Hearn, who has been pushing for the matchup ever since signing Shakur. However, making this fight happen won't be easy, as there are multiple hurdles in the way. Many boxing experts and fans believe it's still too soon for Stevenson to step into the ring with Tank, especially considering his recent underwhelming performances at 135 pounds. His fights against Artem Harutyunyan and Edwin de los Santos left fans highly disappointed, with some even walking out of the arena due to the lack of excitement. These performances raised serious doubts about his ability to deliver in big moments and hold his own against elite-level competition. Critics argue that Stevenson needs to rebuild his reputation and prove he can generate excitement before getting a shot at Tank, as his current style has not convinced the broader boxing audience that he is a must-watch fighter. If he cannot win over fans with more thrilling performances, it could be difficult to justify such a high-profile fight. One of the main reasons Eddie Hearn likely signed Shakur is to eventually secure a massive showdown against Tank, since Shakur hasn't yet established himself as a major pay-per-view attraction on his own. While Stevenson has an undefeated record, his fighting style has made it hard for him to gain mainstream popularity. If this fight does happen, some boxing analysts predict it will resemble Stevenson's controversial match against de los Santos in 2023, a slow-paced, overly defensive, and highly technical fight that resulted in fans loudly booing throughout the later rounds. The problem for Stevenson is that he lacks knockout power at lightweight, which makes it difficult for him to keep aggressive opponents at bay. His defensive style, while effective in winning fights, often leads to frustratingly low action bouts that fail to captivate audiences. On top of that, his persistent hand injuries have been a major concern, further limiting his offensive output. Last year, he had to pull out of a scheduled fight with Joe Cordina due to a broken hand, raising concerns about whether his body can withstand the demands of the lightweight division. Some experts believe he would be better suited to move back down to the 130 or even 126-pound weight class, where his brittle hands wouldn't be as much of a liability, and he could dominate smaller opponents with his speed and technical skills. If Stevenson cannot prove he belongs in the lightweight division, it is unlikely that a fight with Tank would be competitive or financially viable. Despite these concerns, Turki Al-Sheikh remains interested in seeing a potential Stevenson vs. Davis showdown in the future. When speaking with ESPN's Mike Coppinger, Turki acknowledged Davis' skills inside the ring, but emphasized that he wants to see Tank take on more high-level opponents. He made it clear that he does not take things personally when it comes to fight negotiations, but he believes that boxing fans deserve big matchups that truly excite the audience. While Shakur has his supporters, he is a fighter who is more popular within hardcore boxing circles rather than among casual fans. His defensive, counterpunching style is appreciated by purists who love technical boxing, but it does not resonate with the mass public who expect high-intensity, action-packed fights. Many casual fans prefer fighters who take risks, engage in toe-to-toe exchanges, and have knockout power qualities that Tank Davis possesses, but Stevenson lacks. This fundamental difference in their styles makes some people question whether a fight between them would even be entertaining. While it would undoubtedly be a high-level boxing match from a technical perspective, there are concerns that Stevenson would turn it into a cautious, safety-first contest, which could disappoint viewers looking for an explosive showdown. Whether or not this highly debated matchup ever happens, one thing is clear: Shakur has a lot to prove before he can claim a shot at Tank. He must put on a dominant and exciting performance against a worthy opponent to silence his critics and show that he can handle a fighter of Davis' caliber. Until then, the debate over whether Stevenson is truly an elite attraction in the lightweight division will continue. If he continues to put on lackluster performances, it will be difficult to justify him getting a massive payday against one of the biggest names in the sport. On the other hand, if he can improve his offensive output, deliver more entertaining fights, and prove he can handle the power and pressure of top-tier lightweights, then a future clash with Tank could become an unavoidable reality. For now, boxing fans can only wait and see whether Stevenson can evolve into a true superstar, or if his cautious style will continue to hold him back from reaching the sport's highest level. In the world of boxing, matchups are everything, and the idea of Gervonta Tank Davis facing Shakur Stevenson is a tantalizing one. However, the road to making this fight a reality is filled with challenges. Critics point out that Shakur's recent performances at 135 pounds have left much to be desired, with fans even walking out of his fights due to their lack of excitement. If Shakur wants a shot at Tank, he will need to reignite the passion of boxing fans and show that he can deliver a thrilling fight. His defensive style has kept him undefeated, but it hasn't won over the crowds that crave high-action bouts. To truly earn his place in a mega fight with Tank, Stevenson must prove he can handle the aggressive and powerful fighters that define the lightweight division. Only then can he hope to secure a matchup with a star like Davis, whose knockout power and fan-friendly style make him one of the sport's biggest attractions. Shakur's struggle to excite fans isn't just about his cautious fighting style, it also comes down to his inability to generate power at 135 pounds. Unlike Tank, who can end a fight with a single punch, Shakur's lack of knockout power makes it difficult for him to control bouts against physically stronger opponents. This has led to critics suggesting he should move back down in weight, where his speed and technique would be more effective. At a lighter weight class, he could dominate with his slick defensive skills without risking injury to his fragile hands. However, if Stevenson remains at lightweight and continues to put on lackluster performances, the likelihood of a lucrative fight against Tank diminishes. Fans want to see warriors who leave it all in the ring, and unless Shakur can adapt his style to be more engaging, he might find himself sidelined in the conversations about boxing's biggest fights. On the other side, Tank Davis is widely regarded as one of the most dangerous fighters in boxing today. His explosive power and aggressive style have made him a fan favorite, capable of delivering highlight reel knockouts. For many fans, a matchup between Tank and Shakur would not only test Stevenson's skills, but also his heart. Could Shakur withstand Tank's relentless pressure and brutal punches, or would he crumble under the weight of such a challenge? This question fuels much of the intrigue surrounding a potential fight between the two. Davis, who's been involved in several high-profile bouts, would undoubtedly be the favorite heading into the fight, given his proven track record against top-tier competition. For Shakur, a fight with Tank would be a defining moment, an opportunity to prove his critics wrong and establish himself as a true force in the division. But to get there, he must first show that he can handle the heat that comes with facing boxing's elite. As Turki Al-Sheikh and Eddie Hearn continue to push for this exciting matchup, the ball is in Shakur's court. The next few fights could determine his path, whether he climbs the ranks and solidifies his status as a legitimate contender or falls short of the expectations placed upon him. If Stevenson can return to the ring with more determination, showcasing a mix of defensive mastery and offensive firepower, he could renew interest in a clash with Tank. However, if he fails to make adjustments, the opportunity for a career-defining fight may slip away. For now, the boxing world waits, eager to see if Shakur Stevenson can rise to the occasion and transform his cautious technical approach into a style that can captivate fans and earn him a shot at Gervonta Davis. Only time will tell if Stevenson can rewrite his narrative and become the kind of fighter who doesn't just win but thrills.